Hey guys, it's Hillbilly Talk with Shane Simmons coming back at you again. I want to talk about a few things today. Hope you guys are doing great out there. We have had a strangest fall so far. Literally no color whatsoever in my particular area of Southwest Virginia anyway, until just almost basically today, maybe yesterday. It started coming in a little bit, and it was the weirdest thing because everything was basically green despite all the variables that usually mean you're going to have an early and long fall foliage season. It was cold, it's been wet, and so all those factors had played into it. Thought, oh, maybe these things will turn, but it just did not happen until just literally the last 24 hours or so. It's starting to look really good here. Which also, I know, the hurricane, I don't know if it had anything to do with it. I don't know. Something, it's just been a very different kind of season with the weather going up and being 90 degrees one day and then back down into the 40s or 30s. And some people getting snow and other people about to die of heat. It's just a zigzaggiest fall season I've ever been through. So hang in there, guys. We'll get through it. I'm hoping to see some full foliage myself. The last few years, Melody and I have gone to western North Carolina, to Blowing Rock, those areas, Boone, and Maggie Valley. But not going to happen this year. Just all the hurricane fallout and don't want to be in the way and being a problem. But I also know, too, a lot of these towns depend on your tourism dollars. So we're trying to make it down as fast as we can as soon as things get better. And just it's kind of a tough, tricky situation. We end up going to go to the Smoky Mountains probably to check some stuff out this year. Maybe, hopefully Cades Cove if it's not just too much of a nightmare to navigate. But that is the plan. Hopefully you guys have had a good fall season, and depending on where you're at, I know a lot of people are not necessarily from near me, so kind of interesting to hear how you guys live if you get a lot of foliage. I know some people in the Northeast, they get really great stuff up there, but it's nice to hear just to compare and to see what your life is like. I imagine it's probably not a lot of foliage in Florida, right? Places like that. So that's that. I want to talk a little bit too about this little phenomenon that's going on Facebook now. They started to monetize a lot of pages, which is great. We've got monetized now, which helps us out tremendously. I mean, it was a real struggle to even get out of the yard at some points because, everything takes gas money and time and energy and everything else. So, you need to get compensated for it. So I'm so glad they're doing that. But with that comes this proliferation of people stealing content. Just everywhere you look, there's a bunch of Middle Eastern people who have put out these groups. I saw one today, actually two groups, and it's like old historic photos and old historical photos. And the guy, every post, he's put out like 100 posts today about Donald Trump working at McDonald's, and was talking about he faked this to live out his fantasy and his spatula fantasy, just constantly, chronically making fun of that. And it's just one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. And it's just intended to cause division, because sure enough what happens is people get in the contents and they are getting the comments and they start slugging it out back and forth, and the next thing you know, tricks the engagement and it gets pushed out even further, and these guys are making some good money on that. So they're loving it. But they're also stealing. And just here's a typical scenario for me. We get out, drive somewhere an hour or two, 3 hours sometimes to get somewhere. Sometimes just to take a picture of something is about all you get out of it. And you go back and then you rack your brain, writing a post up about it, researching the history, and you put it out there and it's like, oh man, that's great. It's taking off. It's doing wonderfully. And then what do you know? I mean, sometimes less than an hour later, somebody will completely steal everything you did. They'll take your picture, download it. They'll write out a big long, just copy and paste your post, and they'll just put it out there as if it's their own. Just no conscience, no consequences, no anything. And they're making money off of that. Same money you are for being an original content creator. So it's very, very, very frustrating. I spend hours, at least a couple every week, chasing down copyright violations. And these are just people just too lazy to get out and do things themselves, but they'll sure enough swipe your content real quick and give you no credit for it, no compensation, no anything. So hopefully, I wish there was more stiff consequences, because it may pull their monetization for a little while, but it doesn't do anything to dissuade them from doing it long term. And it is just ridiculous. Now, some of these, in all fairness, like we have a Rural Appalachia page on Facebook that is more of we use a lot of stuff that's in the public domain and that kind of thing to tell the stories, and so that's fine. That's fair. It's out there. I didn't take the picture, and I'm not out anything, so somebody swipes it. But it is still annoying when they steal your caption, and especially if it's something you put some thought into or something clever. Next thing you know, it's on 50 different accounts, so it waters everything down that you do. Very frustrating, but it really grinds my gears when it's on, the Appalachian Project or Hillbilly Talk. A lot of that stuff we come up with ourselves, and so somebody just to steal it and put it out there is very frustrating. And now you can see, I was wondering what their motives were. Obviously monetization is one, but they're also, for all the talk about, people coming and creating chaos in our country for the elections and everything else, well, that's just like the situation I said earlier, you're seeing a lot of that bias coming out, trying to promote, either slam one person, make fun of them, make them look bad. And frankly, to this point, it's all been against Trump that I've seen, so that's all I can speak to. But, it's just funny how that's just popped up right here to tail end of the election and trying to sway things, and it doesn't seem like there's any consequences. I mean, it's funny how Facebook can sniff out so many other things. I don't know how many people are like you. I've been put in Facebook jail 3 or 4 times. I'll just say something offhand, goofy, and next thing you know, a year later, sometimes they'll come back, and I've been in there for 30 days before over just jokingly, saying I'd kick something or, whatever. And they can't, it doesn't interpret any of that. But by golly, you can go out here and put out the exact same post in 50,000 different groups, and it's not considered spamming or anything else. They just let it ride. So I don't know. They could do a better job. They need to do a better job, because people like myself who work really hard to put out original content or get really tired of it. People steal our ideas and everything left and right on YouTube too, of course. You see that all the time. People just lift your whole titles of your videos and everything else. No attribution, no consequences, no anything. But, hopefully the copyright laws and whatnot will step up and take care of some of those problems in the future, because it's very, there's not that many original people, unfortunately. And count them on one hand, it seems like, that actually do this kind of stuff. And, so it's very frustrating for somebody that gets out and puts their time, energy, and effort into it, to have somebody else just waltz in here and rip you off and not even say thanks for it. So anyway, that's my soapbox there. The election's coming up, and I'll tell you, if you're like me, it's getting pretty heated out there. And that's funny. As soon as I open my Facebook up, I'll see that somebody stole the post we did about the Jackson Ferry shot tower. So somebody just swiped it and pretended it's their own. So I'll have to go after them here as soon as I get off of here. But anyway, you're going to get it. New River Outdoor Adventures, whoever you are. But anyway, back on that. I'm like, the mainstream media is just such a joke. It's become a parody of itself, how biased it is. And if you listen to that and you take it with a grain of salt, you might be all right. But these people who buy into everything they say, you got to be, I don't know how dense you are. It's scary. And I'm talking, Fox, everybody knows, leans right. If you want to just be in your echo chamber, jump in there, bathe in it, more power to you. But if you jump into the MSNBCs, CNN, ABC, CBS, all these other ones, the same thing. It's like, as long as you're aware that what you're being fed is a bunch of propaganda, more power to you. But I'm the guy who I like fair and balanced. I like to know what's going on. And I know that's Fox's theme, but they're not necessarily fair and balanced all the time. I like somebody who's just right down the middle. I just want to hear the truth. I just want to hear this. I don't want to hear your opinion. I don't want to know what you think about things, which I know some people accuse me of that too, and I'm guilty as charged. But old school journalism pretended to be fair, and you just don't see that anymore. But I'm really enjoying this channel right now on YouTube here. It's called Two Way, the number 2 and WAY. It's Mark Halperin, who, if you watched any Tucker Carlson interview with him, you'll know who that guy is. He's been around for a long time, and he does a really good job of presenting both sides. And I really enjoy that, because I just want to know what's going on. I don't want to know. I don't want to hear spin, your lie, your made-up nonsense. I want to know what is going on in this world. And I need somebody to tell me, unbiased. And if you are saying something, at least couch it with, saying that you have an opinion or a persuasion. Don't pretend that you're being fair and lie to me. I'm just so tired of that. And I think most people are just craving something that's just like, hey, I just want to hear the facts. Like Joe Friday used to say on Dragnet, just the facts, ma'am. I don't want to hear your spin, your interpretation, your word baseless, and whatever. Nobody wants to hear it. I'm tired of it. I'll make my own mind up. I'm a smart person. Don't need you to tell me how to think or how to live my life. Anyway, thought I'd give that. I'm not getting anything for promoting that channel, but I thought a lot of people are like me. I'm very fascinated by politics, but also tired of people trying to tell me how to think. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys are having a great fall, and God bless you. I'll see you. Hopefully, next time I see you, it'll be after I've gone to the Smoky Mountains.